Mic, mic test, mic test, mic test. Mic test, mic test. Mic test, mic test. Okay. Marker, 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 marker. Hi. So in this section, we'll talk about the different kinds of vapes. For our purposes, there are actually modern day or latest, scratch that, scratch that, scratch that. Marker, 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 marker. Hi again. In this section, we'll talk about the different kinds of vapes. For our purpose, we want these latest kinds of vapes that just came out, specifically designed for people who want to quit, smokers who want to quit. These are typically mouth to lung types of vapes. So I'm going to show you the different kinds. This is the typical regular vape. It's not working. But anyway, this is a different kind of inhaling pattern. This does not depict the experience of vaping. But this is for, when you see vapes with really huge clouds, this is it. I need to change the settings or something. Now this one, this is, I suppose you could call it an all-in-one, AIO. So this is actually a dual system. This is both a direct lung, as with the previous inhaling pattern of regular vapes. At the same time, this can also be a mouth to lung. That's why they call it dual systems. This is actually the latest development in vaping. And you can change out it's called an atomizer, to other kinds of atomizers. Those atomizers, that determines what kind of experience you will get from it. So some have a very tight draw, which means just like cigarettes. And some are airy, big clouds, but the flavors are lost. Okay. They all have a different feel to them. But this is not a vaping show. I just wanted to show the different kinds. Now, this is a typical vaping pen. This is a mouth to lung. Mouth to lung means exactly how you smoke a cigarette. You could even sometimes I even hold it like this. It's not as the clouds, the smoke isn't meant to be big. This is not for cloud chasers, as they call them. And this is a simple system. You just, if it gets broken, you replace the pod, the thing, this one. So there. This is actually good enough. But you also need a special juice for these systems. You need what's called Saltnick, or a ratio. Well, you have to talk to someone who knows this. The guys you'll buy from. That's a right ratio for mouth to lung types of vapes, and a right kind of ratio for regular vapes that I showed you. This one requires at least 50-50 PG and VG. Uh, I think it's polyglycerol. Uh, what's VG? Scratch that, scratch that, scratch that part. Scratch that part. So you just have to ask your dealer the right kind of ratio. They will know. Then there's the Saltnick, of course. That's really only for these types of pod system, vaping pod systems or vaping pen. Sometimes they call it. Now this one, now this one is special. This is what I was telling you about. This is not just any regular vaping pod. This is designed for people who want to quit smoking. It does that because this part right here, you can replace it with a real life cigarette filter, you know, so that it really is able to depict the same experience. It's really almost exact, like I would say 98% exact. So when I'm using this, you really can't, well, you could tell the difference, but hardly. You could hardly tell the difference. You'll forget that you're not actually smoking. So these things I recommend. Right now, I only know two brands. This one is called Aspire Vilter. Instead of a filter, it's a V. Aspire Vilter. And there's another one called Inokin. So there. And it's also round shape. But it's also more complex than that because of the experiences. If it's too airy, then it's not. It doesn't simulate an actual smoking. You know, it has to be exactly right. So the kind of juice I have on here is tobacco flavored. Sometimes I put in menthol. So there. If you want to quit smoking, get these things. As to the milligram content of nicotine, now if you're a really heavy smoker and you're trying to quit the habit, you need to start with high milligrams of nicotine. Apart from weaning yourself off the usual source, which is regular cigarettes, there's also the kind of harshness that you want because we're trying to simulate the experience of smoking, right? That it has to be harsh enough. If it's too smooth, well, later on, later on, you can get to that. But because we're after simulation, you know, trying to get as close to the experience of cigarettes as possible. Then later on, converting to 0 milligrams of nicotine, which uh, which is what I do, you know. And once you're in 0 milligrams of nicotine, and you can survive off this, you can decide to quit vaping altogether, because vaping is not physically addictive. It's just something that you like to do, you know. It's really not hard to get off that stuff, unlike cigarettes, which is nearly impossible for some. So as we talked about earlier with my partner, Mr. E, if you can quit smoking via other means, then do so. But if you can't, this is your last hope. This is really your last chance of king out that habit. This one, I actually just bought this for the show. To I've been playing with this for weeks now. So the last recording we did that something like 3 weeks ago, and so now I've got really acquainted with this. I've been using this, well, also this for you know all that time. But this one, the mouth to lung. it doesn't simulate, even though it's rounded. No, because it's not in that. It's not in that. So other vape. Here's the problem. In the industry, vaping industry, it seems like I just don't understand why they're not focusing on these things. This is what will, because why not? Why would you even smoke if it is really exactly the same experience? You know. Plus if you've watched through the whole thing, the whole course, then you now know how to cheat it by altering the submodalities, like altering the qualities of the experience. You know, like depends how you visualize the submodalities. You can even use equalizer bands or volume knobs, or not none at all. So many ways you can cheat this. You can now use your mind to aid you in quitting smoking. But this one, you don't even need to do all that. It does the work for you. And also, this is really great. Um, this is actually an old model. Can you believe that? They're really just not focusing on this. Maybe because it doesn't sell as much. With the interview, um, with Sheila, she was recommending something else. Uh, this is more like this. This is more like this. It's great, but I don't think it's really designed for you to quit smoking. It's not. It doesn't. You can see the shape. Have you seen a cigarette? With that shape, like horizontal, squarish. No, but it's also not just in the shape. You see, the biggest, I would say, selling point for people trying to quit is the paper filter, a real life filter. Although this comes with paper filters with a hole in the middle, you don't need to do that. You can just use the you know regular filter. So another advantage there. Let's say your brand is Marlboro uh, Red. You still get a taste of that, you know, and or a menthol brand. You still get a taste of that while you're doing this. That's the advantage there. So there. I hope you guys consider buying this, something like this. But there are only two brands as of time of recording. I only know two brands. One is Inokin, which is not available in my country. Only this one is available. But this is really great. First time I bought this, I was really impressed. So there, highly recommended. If you want to quit, get this. And I mean, don't try to find holes. You can still know, but this is literally as close as you can get to real life smoking. I mean, in the realm of vaping, this is as close as you can get. So there you go. Thanks.